Neheyawa, Dene Solone, Nakota, Soto, and Métis. As a daughter and granddaughter of Palestinian refugees, I intimately know the intergenerational reverberations of colonial violence and injustice in my family, as do many families here today. I am committed to my responsibilities as a treaty person as we stand in solidarity with the people in Palestine and the indigenous people on these lands who continue to fight for self-governance, liberation, and justice. We would be remiss not to begin our event today with a moment of silence to commemorate all the lives we've lost in Fلسطين. Everybody please stand. I want to begin by welcoming each and every one of you to this special Palestinian Culture Night, where we come together not just as individuals, but as a community that is grieving. It has been unbearable to watch on our screens in real time what is unfolding in Palestine. If you're like me, you felt powerless, horrified, angry, and desperate to do something. The rallies, human chains, sit-ins, educational campaigns, and actions in Edmonton would not have been possible without the support and leadership of the CPCA and every sponsor and volunteer who stepped up. Thank you. And thank you to every community member who continued to show up and made it clear to elected representatives that we as a community will not stand for silence while genocide is being enacted on our family and friends in Flestin. In the face of Canadian complicity to the ongoing genocide of our people, our community has shown remarkable steadfastness, sumud, and an unwavering commitment to stand up and demand change. Our community embodies strength, unity, and a shared love and heritage of Palestine. We gather here not only to appreciate and amplify the richness of our Palestinian identities, but to lean on each other for support. Tonight's event is a testament to the power of community, a space where stories can be told, grief can be shared, and bonds can be strengthened. As we immerse ourselves in the beauty of Palestinian culture, we know that our shared history connects us in ways that transcends physical distance from our homeland. It is in these moments of gathering that we find solace, inspiration, and the courage to face whatever challenges may lie ahead. So let us embrace this evening with open hearts, open minds, and a deep appreciation for the strength that comes from supporting one another. May tonight be a testament of our shared heritage, to the power of community, and a reminder that together we are an unbreakable force. Again, thank you for being here. Let me take a moment to once again thank the CPCA and their volunteers and organizers for everything they've done over the past 11 weeks. Your hard work and dedication is inspiring. I'd like to introduce the President of the Canada-Palestine Cultural Association, Ganda Hajjawi.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I want to start by welcoming our guests, and especially our Palestinian Christian guests. In our beloved Palestine, the birthplace of Christianity, Christmas this year was cancelled as Israel continues its ethnic cleansing campaign in Gaza that has been felt across Palestine. Every year on December 25th, Canada-Palestine Cultural Association invites the community to the Palestinian Cultural Night to celebrate our tradition, heritage, and to share with the community our work throughout the year and our future plans. This year, there will be no celebration. Our community is in deep mourning. More than 28,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since Israel began its onslaught on October 7th. There is no business as usual in genocide, and there will be no celebration while our lives continue to be treated as expendable collateral. We are in tremendous pain, witnessing in disbelief the most horrific genocide in modern history. People in Gaza are being massacred in cold blood. The death toll reached more than 28,000 people. 70% of these killed are women and children. Since October 7th, more than 100 journalists were killed and 400 injured. This accounts for 72% of all media deaths worldwide. The situation our community is enduring is unimaginably distressing and has profound impact on the lives of the Palestinian community in Edmonton and their loved ones here and in Palestine. The impacts of this genocide are felt deeply in Edmonton. More than 13 families in our community have lost over 203 loved ones in Gaza. Our community is also facing unprecedented hate and discrimination. According to EPS, anti-Palestinian racism has increased more than 1,000% since October 7th. Tonight is meant to bring our community together, to offer one another collective support and show our solidarity with our families and loved ones in Gaza and in all of Palestine. We do this not by celebrating, but by recognizing and remembering the sacrifices made by those defending their land and families in Palestine and learning about new ways to organize and mobilize here in Edmonton. Our event today will include pieces of our Palestinian culture and roots. We would be remiss not to incorporate our rich traditions into our gathering. The ethnic cleansing campaign our people are facing has been ongoing for 75 years, and cultural erasure is an integral part of it. For that reason, we hold our culture and traditions near and dear so as not to do disservice to the future generations by not reminding them about all that we are as people. That includes our dapki and tatris. While they're often celebratory, they are also used as form of resistance. Tonight is also about educating ourselves and our youth so that we can become stronger as a community in order to advocate for our families in Gaza and be voice for the voiceless in Palestine. So how can we do this? Educate yourself. Speak up against discrimination and injustice, especially when you see or hear it. Please take the time to learn about anti-Palestinian racism and how to report hate crimes. We have a special table at the back with information on how to report hate speech. Advocate for change. Get involved with policymakers, attend community meetings, and participate in activism efforts. We also have a table in the back for post-secondary activism. Attend events and gatherings. Attend the rallies, protests, and events that support the Palestinian cause. Your physical presence can make a statement and contribute to the sense of unity. Wear the kufiya. Wearing the kufiya is a visible way to show your support. We also have Palestinian poppy wearing the Palestinian as a visual pledge to never forget the martyrs. Provide financial support. We appreciate the generosity of our community and the collective desire to donate and support. We will be organizing additional fundraising initiatives when this genocide ends. The price you paid for your tickets today will help us cover equipment costs for our rallies and actions that have set reverberations across the city. We thank you for your contribution, support to the CPCA as we work on expanding our programming and reach to serve our community during this difficult time. To all the people here, and the success of our protest is because of you. The Edmonton community has really stepped up for our brothers and sisters in Gaza, and we are the leaders across Canada, and other cities reach out to us for guidance on how the rallies have been the most successful across the country. Finally, thank you to the people of Gaza for teaching us all about courage and faith. Thank you.
Depke holds a rich history that extends across generations, embodying cultural passion and a community spirit. Originating in the villages of Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Palestine, Depke has evolved from neighbors collectively stomping their feet in an effort to compress mud roofs on village homes, to a celebratory dance, to a powerful expression of resistance. Depke became a means of expressing solidarity, struggle, and culture. The dance serves as a form of social cohesion, bringing communities together and fostering a sense of shared heritage. The rhythmic footwork and spirited movements have become a symbol of unity and defiance in the face of adversity. In this upcoming performance, witness the fusion of tradition and resistance as our dancers bring to light the stories of struggle and perseverance through the art of resistance Depke, performed by Ehlina, a group established by CPCA to promote Palestinian culture and heritage, led by Thaed al-Sakif. Thaed led al-Quds in Jordan and came to Canada to help establish the first Palestinian folklore Depke group in Alberta. Please welcome Fahmi Musa, who is an integral part of both the Depke group and the Women's Committee at the CPCA, to introduce the group in Arabic.
السلام عليكم. تعتبر الدبكة إحدى أهم صور التراث الفلسطيني، ورغم محاولات الاحتلال لطمس الهوية الفلسطينية بكل أنواعها، إلا أن الدبكة حافظت على استمراريتها وحضورها في كل المناسبات. كانت الدبكة قبل الاحتلال تأخذ طابع الفرح والمناسبات، وبعد نكبة 48 أصبحت الدبكة شكل من أشكال النضال الوطني الفلسطيني. فرقة بلدنا فرقة تراث فلكلوري فلسطيني تابعة للجمعية الكندية الفلسطينية CPCA، تقدم دبكات شعبية تراثية مستلهمة من التراث الفلسطيني خصوصاً وبلاد الشام عموماً، لإظهارها في صور فنية فلكلورية معاصرة تعبر عن قضيتنا ونضالنا الفلسطيني. عهد الله ما نرحل، عالرباعية عالرباعية، والله شفتك يا علمي زينة راية الأمم، طل سلاحي من جراحي يا ثورتنا، طل سلاحي. هاي أول فقرة لفرقة بلدنا بعنوان لوحة الثورة.
عهد الثورة والثوار والجماهير ما يرحل، عهد الثورة والثوار والجماهير ما يرحل، واحنا قطعة منها الأرض، واحنا قطعة منها الأرض، وعمر الأرض وعهد الله ما بنرحل، عهد الله ما نرحل، عهد الله من جوع نموت ولا نرحل، عهد الله ما نرحل، عهد الله من جوع نموت ولا نرحل، عهد الثورة والثوار والجماهير ما يرحل، عهد الثورة والثوار والجماهير ما يرحل، واحنا قطعة منها الأرض، واحنا قطعة منها الأرض، وعمر الأرض وعهد الله ما بنرحل. نادي يا بلادي يوم استشهادي، نادي يا بلادي يوم استشهادي، فوق أرض بلادي تحمى المانية. والله وشفتك يا علمي زينة رايات الأمم، والله وشفتك يا علمي زينة رايات الأمم، أسود أسود فارق صار، أبيض أبيض لون القلب، أخضر أخضر لون الأرض، أحمر متلون بدمي، والله وشفتك يا علمي زينة رايات الأمم، والله وشفتك يا علمي زينة رايات الأمم.
بدي تحية لأشبال وزهرات فلسطين. هدول الأطفال والشباب هدول خلال 3 شهور طلعوا هاي الرقصات، فبدنا تحية كبيرة لهم. طبعا التحية الكبيرة للمدرب ثائر عسكر. الفقرة الثانية لوحة قصيرة لأغنية ليفا فلسطينا التي أصبحت رمز من رموز المقاومة.
Thank you, everybody. Next, I'd like to introduce Aziza Safin, a Syrian-Palestinian art director who wrote and directed our next performance, which was a silent play about one family's tragedy in the current siege on Wغزة.
السلام عليكم. عيد ميلاد مجيد وأعياد مباركة للجميع. على هذه الأرض ما يستحق الحياة، وأي أرض هي مهد الأنبياء، ملتقى الحضارات، قلب الشرق، بوابة العبور إلى الغرب وبوابة الأرض للسماء. الأرض المباركة المقدسة التي كانت مسكنا للأنبياء والمؤمنين، هي أولى القبلتين وثالث الحرمين. نعم، إنها فلسطين. سلام وألف سلام لبلد السلام. ألف وألف سلام لتلك العيون الصغيرة التائهة بين الزحام، زحام الموت والركام. لأجلكم أطفال غزة، لأجلكم اليوم نصرخ عاليا: أعطونا طفولة، أعطونا الطفولة. ونرفع سويا رايات وشعار: أنقذوا الطفولة. أنقذوا الطفولة عمل مسرحي لمجموعة من الشباب السوريين بالتعاون مع فرقة بلدنا، يقدمون مشهد أغلبه صامت، هو إسقاط على زمنين: سنة 1948 وما يحدث الآن في فلسطين، وكأن التاريخ يعيد نفسه مرتين، كما أنه تجسيد للواقع، مأساة أهلنا في غزة الحبيبة وخاصة الأطفال. أطفالنا أكبرنا، هم أجيالنا القادمة. أردنا أن نقف معهم ونساندهم، فمن حقهم بل وأبسط حقوقهم أن يعيشوا بسلام، وكلنا أمل أن تصل رسالتنا هذه للعالم أجمع. شكرا لحضوركم. دمتم ودامت فلسطين حرة عربية. أنقذوا الطفولة.
مشاري أنا ما بدي. تعال يوسف، تعال معي، تعال. تعال يوسف، تعال. يلا ارجعوا خلونا نعمل مساحة بالنص. بحكي لكم قصة كثير حلوة. عادوا لنحكي لكم قصة كثير حلوة وبدي اياكم كلكم تسمعوها. هلا أول ما فتنا جاد كان عم يسألني ليش قعدنا على الأرض. قبل ما نبلش بدي لكم ليش قعدنا على الأرض. أول شيء بدنا نعرف شو هي الأرض اللي قعدنا عليها. هي الأرض أرض الزيتون وأرض الليمون وأرض الزعتر. هي الأرض أرض السلام اللي ما شافت سلام. هي الأرض تستحق إنه نعيش عليها وبتستحق الحياة. والأرض عرض. وهلا مثل ما قعدنا على الأرض بدنا نرسم كمان طيارات. وكل حدا بده يرسم لي أحلى طيارة عشان نورجيها لأهالينا بس نخلص. اتفقنا؟ اتفقنا؟ يلا بلشوا لشغل. صحيح صحيح بدي اياك تتخيل انك رسام. وانت كمان تبشرنا مكتوبة. كل مرة مسخر بدنا مكتوبة. وانت يا يوسف مثل ما قلت لي لون الطيارة اللي بتحبها باللون اللي بتحبه.
السلام عليكم يابا.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. هلا حبيبي. الله يرضى عليك. الله يرضى عليك يا ابني. الله معك الله معك. سلام حبيبي. فهلا بدنا نكمل مثل ما اتفقنا نحكي عن الطيارات. تمام؟ بتعرفوا قصة بسام اللي طلع بالطيارة وكان خايف منها؟ أنا راح أحكي لكم قصة بسام اللي طلع بالطيارة وكان خايف منها. راح بسام مع أبوه على المطار. إجوا بدهم يطلعوا لوين؟ على المطار.
كان لي وقتي فدرك زمانك كالأسوار اللون من الطعانة جرحك بقلبي وقلبي بكفانك يا غريب الطول هيني السنبلة اكتر الأيام والجرح هنا وعنكم علي تريد تفضل عشرنا.
زي الطيارة الكبيرة. يوسف تعال يوسف اقعد معنا يا يوسف. تعال يا يوسف. مش زيها. تعال يوسف. يوسف يوسف. تعيطش يا زلمة. يا زلمة تعيطش. كلنا شهداء. كلنا مشاريع شهداء.
يا الله ونعم الوكيل يا
قول
الله.
إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون.
وإنا إليه راجعون.
اللهم أجرني في مصيبتي وأخلفني خيرا منها. لا قوة إلا بالله.
لا إله إلا الله. يا الله ونعم الوكيل.
يستبشرون
عطونا السلام. Oh mon enfant, à mes 10 ans, à l'innocence, au beau jardin, en mon pays, rappelle les enfances. Je vous demande, vous prie de rendre toute l'innocence de mon enfance, de mon enfance. Sauvez l'enfant, sauvez l'enfant, sauvez l'enfant, sauvez, sauvez, sauvez l'enfant. I am a child with something to say. Please listen to me. I am a child who wants to play. Why won't you let me? My dolls are waiting, my friends are praying, small hearts are begging. Give us a chance. 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 Please, please, give us a chance. عطونا طفولي، عطونا طفولي، عطونا طفولي، عطونا السلام. بين فضاء لا مكان له في الوجود. لم لا لم لا 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 لم لا لم لا 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 لم لا
amazing performances. Thank you again to the band بالأدنى, CPCA, and all the children that were involved in this. It was really difficult to see, I think, but also really important.
أنا قلت حكوا مع الجانب المصري عشان ياخذوا موافقة، فتفقدت يعني والدي والموظف بيضحك، وبعدين طلع والدي بيضحك من المكتب فنادى علي قال لي إيهاب تعال، فرحت فبيقول لي روح مع الشرطي معاه جوازك. فأنا تخيلت من ضحكة والدي واستبشاره والموقف اللي صار انه لانهم بدهم يطلعوا بمعيتي فانا لازم اروح وهم بيلحقوني. فرحت معه فطلعني من القاعة باب باتجاه واحد، تطلع ما بترجعش، لف ورا المكتب، ختم الجواز واعطاني وقال لي روح على الباص. قلت له على اي باص؟ قال لي على الباص. قلت له وين؟ قال لي عند المصريين. قلت له لا ما بينفعش، أنا معايا والدي والدتي أختي وبنتها موجودين بدهم يجوا معايا. قال لي ماشي، أنا حكيت مع الوالد وقلت له حكينا وارتفض اسمه إنه هو يدخل هو وبقية العيلة، فأنت المسموح لك بس لأنه اسمك على الليست. والوالد قال لي إن أنا أطلعك، فأنا طلعتك. فوالدي ما بدوش إياني أحس إنهم حيرجعوا فأرجع معاه، بده يطلعني بأي وسيلة، حتى ما قاليش يابا أشوف وجهك بخير، ما رضيش يقولها، قال لي يابا روح معاه جوازك معه خلص. وبيضحك وأنا عارفه من جوا بيضحك بس محروق، لأنه هذا ممكن آخر مرة أشوفه، حتى ما حكليش روح ودع والدتك عشان ما أحسش. فقعدت أنا في الباص فاتصلت فيه بقول له يابا ليش هيك عملت؟ قال لي يابا روح شوف مرتك وبناتك في كندا، إحنا كبار إلنا الله. فلما وصلت على القاهرة ثاني يوم اتصلوا فيا من مستشفى العودة في النصيرات بيقولوا لي والدك استشهد بالطيارة. وهو مروح من المعبر رحمة الله عليه بيقول لأختي أنا بدأت ارتحت، إيهاب طلع برا غزة عنده مشن وبده يعملها، ضل وراها لما عملها رحمة الله عليه. بس إيش الإشي المؤثر حقيقة؟ والدي كل ما كنت بدي أطلع على المستشفى ولا أروح أجيب مي ولا أجيب أكل يقول لي يابا معك جواز سفرك في جيبتك. أقول لي يابا ليش؟ شو بدي في جواز السفر؟ أنا رايح أجيب مي. يقول لي خذوا يابا خذوا. بعدين عرفت إن والدي كان أكبر هم عنده إنه أنا أموت أستشهد بس ما يتعرفوش علي، فيحطوني مع الشهداء الغير معرفين اللي بيندفنوا في مقابر جماعية. فهو حابب لما أنا أموت يتصلوا فيه فأندفن في قبر لحالي بكرامة. فلما اتصلوا فيا من مستشفى العودة فإيش بيقولوا لي؟ بيقولوا لي لقينا جواز سفره في جيبته. بس والله يا إيهاب إحنا ما عندنا وسع ندفن، معلش ندفن في قبر جماعي. قلت أنا مفروض أقرر القرار اللي هو ما كان بده إياه يصير لي. قال لي بس ما في وسع. قلت لهم ماشي. للأسف لما راحوا على مقبرة دير البلح لقوا له القبر بحاله الحمد لله ودفنوه لحاله. وإيش اللي إنك تجد قبرا لنفسك في غزة أمك، مش هذا ظلم إن الوالد يستشهد ويكون أمنيتي بس إنه يندفن بكرامة، ما يحطوهوش unidentified. لما أروح بدي أزوره ما أعرفش قبره وين هو مدفون. فهذه القصة يا جماعة ما هياش قصة إيهاب بدر ولا والدي الكريم الشهيد الله يرحمه محمد عبد الرحمن بدر. هذه قصة كل الفلسطينيين. لسه أنا قصتي ألطف من غيري. في ناس كتير قدام عيني يجي على المستشفى أولاده كلهم شو؟ كلهم 5 4. واللي جاي مستشهدت مرته وأولادها، واللي استشهد جوزها وأولادها وأبوها وأمها وضلت لحالها، والعائلة اللي انبادت طلع منها طفل لحاله. مجازر، كارثة. اللي بس أنا بدي أحكي يا جماعة إنه كلنا مسؤولين عن اللي بيصير. ما هياش مسؤولية حدا أكثر من حدا ولا حدا أقل من حدا. حجم الكارثة والجرح اللي صاير هناك يستدعي إنها الناس تنسى عاد كل المشاكل والخلافات وكل الارتباط بهاي الدنيا اللي رايحة، وتفكر عاد كيف نخلص من هالكارثة اللي اسمها احتلال، من هالمجرمين اللي واقفين في رؤوسنا وبيقتلوا في الأطفال، وفي الأخير بنطلع إحنا بالهدي. وهذا الهم اللي لازم يخلص، هذه الكارثة اللي لازم نخلص منها.
جزاك الله خير. الله يرحم أبوك والله يقويكم إن شاء الله ويجعلكم من أهل الجنة. So let's switch to English because there's a lot of English speakers and the youth especially because I want them to get a message from you. If you were to give one message to the youth here today in terms of helping protest, social media, a lot of them are not sure if this is working. They're doing it, they're doing the work, but they're not sure if it's working and they're not sure if Wغزة is getting the message. What would your message be, not just to the youth, but to everyone who's doing the things they can do? What would you say to them? How can they help the people of Gaza, in your opinion?
So could we just, could I mention something before we come to the practical steps of how we can help? So the story of my father, as I just mentioned, is the story of all Palestinians. It summarizes the suffer, theظلم, the oppression that a typical Palestinian would live. It's a story of a kid who was forced to leave Asqalan in 1948. This is my father, rahmatullahi alayhi. He was a refugee. It's a story of a refugee who left Asqalan in 1994 to Gaza. It's a child inside the refugee camp, a Shaatir refugee camp, where you have no appropriate healthcare system or appropriate education or even like housing set up, a decent one. You don't have all those meanings to live in dignity. The world back then abandoned us in those refugee camps, and this is how he started his life at 3 years old. And it's a story of 80 years of occupation and oppression. It's a story of a man who would strive to make his kids to live better life than his life. It's a story of someone who is sick, 80 years old. He would spend 43 days in this war without his own medication. He is diabetic, he has renal failure, he has heart problems, and yet he has no access to the basic service of any medical service. Access to a clean water or food to eat, especially when he ran out of medications. It's his story, the story of someone who suffered a lot. And I just looked at his face when we arrived to Al-Nusayrat camp, when we left from the city of Gaza to southern Gaza to escape the hell out there. When we went there, he arrived to Al-Nusayrat refugee camp. He was 80 years old. With all sadness, this is my life in a nutshell. I started in a Shaatir refugee camp. and now I'm dying in Nusayrat refugee camp. Isn't it that the story of a typical Palestinian who suffered a lot, wallahi, min al-dhulm and oppression? So those, now the entire world claims that those are terrorists because they defend their rights. They stand up for al-haq. They stand up for the truth. But really those who targeted all the hospitals when I was there, including Al-Nasr, Al-Rantisi, the Indonesian, Kamal Udwan, Al-Shifa, all those hospitals were targeted. And I was there, I am a witness. On all those hospitals, when they were targeted, those are the terrorists. Terrorists, those who attacked kids inside the hospitals and killed them. Those are the terrorists. Terrorists are those who attack all bakeries, supermarkets, groceries, springs of clean water, residential towers, daycares, and schools. Those are the terrorists. So his story summarizes this. So for us, we need to learn from all these lessons that what we need to do, the most important one, in my mind, is do what you can based on your capacity. Like the driver of the ambulance, and like the owner of the bakery who told me this is what I'm good at. Maybe I can't be in the front line. I'm not a politician. I can't go over media and speak. I could feed people. They want to stay in their land, and I could support them. Simple, easy, yet very effective. Very effective. Direct to the point. Can we do that? All of us? Could you go to yourself, every single one of us, and ask yourself single question? Something you are good at. What I'm good at. Don't convince me that I am only good at emotions. No, nobody will say this. Emotions and tears are good, but not good enough. You are good at something, I'm sure. You are good at media, social media, giving a public speech, spread awareness, signing petitions, going to protest, record a short video. You be creative to do whatever you can, join those advocate groups and make a pressure. You are good at something, and don't underestimate that man who owns the bakery. He never underestimated the loaf of bread that he made every single morning to feed us. And that ambulance driver, he never underestimated his power, his strength, his influence, standing up for the truth based on my capacity, based on my skills. So this hall is full of people. So I am sure that every single one of us could participate to protect our brothers and sisters there in Palestine. Could help. You could do something. I'm sure 100%. You could do something. Please think about it and do it. Very easy. Very simple, very practical. Like, you are good at something, just go ahead and do it. You can do it. Again, remember, emotions are not good enough. Because your feelings and your tears and your emotions really appreciated, but they want open borders for those who are hungry, for those who are thirsty, for those who are really suffering a lot from the military killing machine day and night. They need your action, even though simple, but it's an action, and it will help. So I got to know that lots of our communities here in Canada, whether in Edmonton, in London, in Ottawa, in Toronto, I am rounding all the cities and I'm meeting people. and giving speeches and talks to raise awareness and spread awareness about what's going on there and give my testimony to everyone. But I'm aware that also of our members of our community, they established specific bodies, or they started to organize activities to support that cause, to join them. If you could help through them, that's fine. If you could help through others, that's fine. If you could help through yourself only, that's okay too. See and back, Action for Palestine, this society, those who organized this nice gathering, you go and support them. Those people, they would work for some of them advocacy and promoting things and making pressure on the government. That's fine. You don't underestimate these things. It's like the owner of the vehicle or the driver of the bus. You could help, and your participation is huge based on your skills, based on your capacity. At least this is something we could agree on, right? Can we agree on this? All of us. Simple question before we leave this hall. You spot something you are good at, use it to help your brothers and sisters, your people, your relatives, our brothers and sisters, our people, Sha'b, there in Gaza and in the West Bank too, because they are suffering too from the same military killing machine. It's the same power of dhulm, the oppression. Simple and yet direct.
Jazakallah khair for that answer. So we want to give some time for people to ask questions as well, but before we go to the questions, is there anything, a message that you think is very, very important that needs to get out that you haven't covered so far before we go to the questions?
I think yes. The most consistent ask of our people in Gaza, I could hear it almost every single day. You know what was the question? Do you think, because they know I live in Canada, they asked me, do you think our Jaliyah, our community in Canada or in America or in Europe, do you think they will help us? They will support us? You know what's sad there? And I was there and I had the same feeling too. People in Gaza, they had very deep feeling that they were abandoned by the entire world. They were left to die, to be killed, without any mercy. Just a few words here and there through the tongue of some politicians means nothing. They didn't even able to just provide them with a cup of water. So the consistent ask was, do you think the rest of this ummah, our people, our community, our Sha'b, our relatives, people who would care about us in Gaza and what's going on, do you think they have enough strength and power to help us? And I would leave the answer in your hands.
Yes, we do!
There's your answer if you're wondering. That's how we all feel, inshallah. So, we do have some time for some questions. So we'll take a couple questions from the audience. What I'll do is, if someone has a question, raise your hand. I'll come with the microphone so it's clear, and you can ask Dr. Badr. Question way at the back there. You had a question there first? I saw a hand go up. Keep your hand up, please, so I can see. Somebody had their hand up here? No? Okay. I'll go. You have a question?
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. دكتور إيهاب، بداية بتشكرك على حضورك اليوم والوصف اللي وصفت لنا اياه والمشاعر اللي عبرت فيها عن الحاله السيئه بغزه. لدي سؤال. انت طرحت قبل ذلك اود ان اترحم ايضا على السيد والد، وان شاء الله تلتقي بعائلتك عن قريب بافضل حال. سؤالي هو عند قدومك الى كندا كيف كان التعامل من قبل الحكومة الكندية، وهل وجهت أسئلة إليكم حول الحقائق على أرض الواقع التي واجهتموها هناك في قطاع غزة؟ شكرا لك.
ممكن أجاوب بالإنجليزي؟
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's fine. So, thanks for your question. He asked me about the reaction from the Canadian government once I escaped Gaza at Rafah borders and in Egypt, and once I arrived in Canada. Did they ask me about the situation there and what happened and what's going on in Gaza? You mean the government, right?
Yeah, what did they tell you? Did they ask you about what's going on there?
To be honest, the government, they didn't ask anything. And it wasn't like something. Like even there in Egypt, they gave us an appointment at the embassy. I thought that part of this interview would be about the situation there and what we've seen, but that didn't happen. The entire interview was about your flight booking to Canada and if you have any illnesses like contagious disease, that when you come in Canada there is a risk matter and that you would spread these things. So that's the only ask. Nothing else. But something related to this, very important, just for you to know, when I was there, I received calls from most of medias, like media platforms, here in Canada and outside Canada. And I received some of these calls and I have interviews. So through these interviews, they gave me the platform to speak. Like they asked me specific questions, but it is up to me to answer whatever I want. So I did mention about the white phosphorus, about the kids who I receive in the hospital, and most of casualties that we receive are kids and women and civilians. I talked a lot about destroying and targeting bakeries and springs of clean water and hospitals. And later on, I don't have internet, I don't have electricity, I don't know how they are going to use this information. So the focus was, in most of those media platforms, a Canadian doctor who is a hero, volunteered his time to help people in Gaza. Nothing about those kids who are being killed, or the white phosphorus, they don't mention. And this is important for us to know, like even the information we control it. فإحنا our responsibility to spread awareness, to make sure that people know. People know. Yesterday I was in Vancouver, and the day before I was in Calgary, giving like speeches and talks, public talks like this, for the same reason. And some of people, they come to me and they ask me, really? They target hospitals? They killed kids? We don't believe it. You don't see the news. By the way, lots of people still they don't know. And we need to keep pushing, we need to keep going. We need to tell people. So even if they ask and you answer, they cut the answer and they provide the society at large with the version that they wanted them to receive. A Canadian doctor, he is a hero, volunteered his time there, and that should be it.
Jazakallah khair for that answer. Someone else had a question? Right at the back there's a...
السلام عليكم دكتور إيهاب. عظم الله أجركم بالوالد.
وعظم الله أجرنا جميعا بكل قطرة دماء نزلت على أرض غزة المباركة وعلى أرض فلسطين. ولا شك أن هذا المصاب مصابنا جميعا. في الحقيقة بدي أعلق على نقطة أولى، أنه غزة تركت وحيدة. إذا كان هناك مصطلح أن هي حرب كونية، فهذا المصطلح لا يطبق إلا اليوم على غزة فقط، إنها حرب كونية على غزة. وللأسف ذوي القربى كانوا أشد وأكثر قساوة على غزة من العدو ومن خلف العدو. السؤال اللي أنا بدي أسأله الدكتور إيهاب ليس لي، أنا عندي قناعات وعندي قراءاتي ومتابع جيد، أنا من الخليل من الداخل، فأنا متابع جيد وأعرف الوضع. لكن الهدف من سؤالي للحضور الكريم ولبعض النفوس الأخرى الخارجية، هل تتوقع أو حسب وجهة نظرك كونك جئت من الداخل أن حماس أخطأت بما قامت به يوم 7 أكتوبر؟ بارك الله فيك. أخي الكريم، أنا حكيت عن نفسي بداية إنه هذا السؤال ليس لي. هنالك نفوس مريضة. رجاء أنا سألت سؤالي واستمع لسؤالي جيدا. استمع لسؤالي جيدا، ما تشيلش لأنك ما تعرفنيش. اهدى وروح.
جزاكم الله خير. إن شاء الله Dr. Ehab will address that. Thank you.
سيدي الله يجزيك الخير. Again, can I say something? Wallahi, there is no time for the disagreement. And I know we have different opinions. We could have differences in everything. We have different walks of life. Like wallahi, the genocide that's going there in Gaza has no mercy to anyone. They killed everyone. They destroyed everything. Hatta though we have different opinions, let's at least understand each other and go forward. Wallahi, there is no room for any differences right now. There is no rules. And I can't even accept this, wallahi. This is not just my opinion. I want you just to imagine that people in Gaza, they see people, they are still fighting each other and they have differences while they are attacking us day and night. They killed my father, my kids, my wife, my neighbors, and yet still we have debates. We have no room for this now. Leave it on a side. Let's focus how to stop this genocide. And this is my main message. Now, Akhi al-Habib, regarding what happened on October 7th from Hamas or any resistant group, I think I can't answer that what they did wrong or right, because it is beyond my imagination to imagine, you know, you are occupying my land, you kill me, and you killed me since 1948, and if I do something as a reaction of your bad occupation, all the genocides that happened before, killing our people and killing everyone, is still need to be justified or not justified. The only criminal in this story is the occupation force. This is what I know.
Jazakallah khair. Great answer, mashallah. Other questions? Just raise your hand and Zah will bring you the mic. Right there.
Assalamu alaikum. عظم الله أجركم. Just a quick question now. How do you describe the solidarity and most importantly the iman or the faith that Gaza has, and what is your advice to our ummah here? Thank you.
Allah يجزيك الخير. I think what happened in Gaza since October 7th until today moved the entire ummah, and I would say the entire world. it's like it's a truth, it's a fact, that people after October 7th, everywhere, like you could see that in Canada, in the States, in London, UK, in Paris, in Berlin, and even our people in Jordan and Egypt and in the Middle East, I saw them. They have something inside their hearts. Maybe they could say it, maybe they can't say it, but there is something different. حقيقة, we all started to move. And we started to be different. We started to think about Palestine and what's going on there and how to free ourselves again from this occupation. Now this issue is alive. They tried to kill it. They tried to kill it with the تطبيع. They tried to kill it with so different means. But at the end of the day, now it is alive. So there is a lot of solidarity. We need to capitalize on this. There is a lot of awareness among our youth who were targeted to forget, not to be connected to Palestine, to the Holy Land, to Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. Now it's easier. Like, as I mentioned before, when I joined the hospital here in London, Ontario, that was in 2012. And on my first day, I introduced myself as Eehab Badr from Palestine. They told me, where? What's Palestine? Pakistan? I told, no, Palestine. They said, what's Palestine? And I had to draw the map to show them where Palestine. Today, if you tell anyone walking down the street, not only Palestine, Gaza and Jenin, they know it. They know حي الرمال. They know مخيم الشاطئ. They know details. This unprecedented awareness, it's a golden opportunity for all of us to use it, to capitalize on it. بإذن الله.
جزاك الله. Great answer again. We have a question at the back, Zahra. Go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'd just like to ask you, what gives you the courage to put yourself on the front lines, Gaza, and help the people of Gaza? What gives you the courage?
To be honest, it's not me. And again, real heroes are those who come from under the rubble to stand up for the truth, to support the haq. People who I got to meet there in Gaza, whether my colleagues at the hospital, nurses or healthcare providers, or my neighbors, or my friends, or my extended family, or relatives, or anyone. حقيقة, those are real heroes. What made me go to the hospital, because the entire environment there is different. Everyone is trying to do something, and you need to be among them. You need to be with the caravan, those who are standing up for the truth, those who are defending their rights, those who would support the Masjid Al-Aqsa. And they will defend our masajid, our churches, our hospitals, our houses, our cities, our villages. So when you see everyone is there, shuja', they have courage, discipline, patience, resilience, you will be among them. You will be impacted by this beautiful environment. Yes, it is hard, it is not easy, and yet it is hard in your body. You feel tired, physically tired, but internally you are so strong. And this feeling really inspiring. So if you are exposed to this environment, I am sure every single one in this hall will do better and will help and support.
Jazakallah khair. Another great answer. Question for that. By the way, to us, you are a hero. I know you're a humble man, but we're all here for you. Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum, Doctor. First of all, thank you for being with us and thank you for explaining a lot of things that we didn't know and know at the same time. One question that I have is the medical side of the hospitals in Palestine. I know that they don't have any medication, any anesthesia, any pain products. How can we support or send those things to Palestine today?
Could I answer this question differently a little bit, and then I will come to your point? The most important help to our people in Gaza and in the West Bank to have a very strong presence in this country. Now, we could help by sending money and medications and food, and this is valuable and important, and we need to do it because there is a big need there. But really, our strong presence would stop this genocide. Our strong presence would prevent something else to happen in the future, because they will take in their considerations our strong presence. Now, it's not depressing to know that this time we couldn't really change that much until now, 80 days. But really we started to move, and things will be different in the future. We started to feel the sense of revival. It's there, it's revived, and we see it in the eyes of our youth and our kids. So let's focus on the most important and vital thing that we could do to help our people there. We need to strengthen our presence. So our institutions, we need to start thinking how to make them strong, deeply rooted, and effective. Like this institution, the CMPAC, Action for Palestine, those are institutions were established these days to advocate for Palestine and to lobby for Palestine, to pressure MPs and politicians to change their opinion. So this is our first concern, at least this is my humble assessment and opinion. Now, the second one, which is also important, the medical aid, as you just asked. So we need to donate, fine. And I know it's difficult for anything now to get inside Gaza. And I was there for days, 43 days, I didn't see anything. What I saw, very humble, very simple medical aids that we received in a Shifa hospital. It meant almost nothing for us. And this is because of the occupation force. They prevent anything to enter Gaza. For this picture of genocide to be completed here. That's the reason. Because these people are terrorists, as we just mentioned. They use the collective punishment, العقاب الجماعي, against 2 million of our people there. So part of this full scene is to let them die, even without help or support or medical aid. So we need to donate, yes, hopefully that Rafah gate will be open in the future at some point and they will receive our help. So part of our movement here that we need to encourage ourselves, our community, our youth, our kids to learn that we need to give for our people there in Gaza. We need to give wealth, we need to give medical aids, we need to give medications and support and food. And there, closing the borders shouldn't discourage us from doing this. At some point, these borders will be open and they will get our aid. But let's remember that we need again to strengthen our presence in this country to help them better.
Jazakallah, that's a great point, yeah. Is there another question on this side of the room? Wait a minute. I think it's a good point that Dr. Badr makes, for us to help people, we need to help ourselves, we need to be strong, have institutions like the Canada-Palestine Cultural Association, like other organizations, so that if we're strong here, we can have more push, more influence on our governments and on the leaders. So, Jazakallah. Question?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum.
So I know we've discussed a lot, and it's really hard to kind of think about Gaza and Palestine in this way. So I kind of just wanted to ask: is there any more happy memories that you have that you wish that, inshallah, in the future you can return to, inshallah, if this finishes, inshallah?
I didn't understand the question. Sorry. Can you just repeat the question?
Is there any happy memory that you wish you can return to? Something that you can come back to? يعني فكرة سعيدة.
في غزة?
في غزة.
It is all والله beloved memories. I love them, all of them. Even والله the hardship, difficult times that I used to spend with my parents, my sister, my niece, my friends, our neighbors. When we left Gaza and we went to the south, we have so difficult moments. Like until today, I still remember these moments, and I would love to go there to stay with them. Those people who I love, who I admire, and I really respect this kind of ties and relationship that I had to establish there, especially with our neighbors, who decided to help each other, and we decided to help them, and they decided to help us as if we are one body. Wallahi, when we got water, we divide the water between all of us. Even though those people, I don't know them, they are not my relatives. But I love them so much because they were sincere and they have, again, discipline, patience, and courage. So if you would ask me about anything nice, I would say, in spite of the pain and all what I just mentioned, those 43 days for me were extremely beautiful because I felt I am doing something for Palestine, for the Masjid al-Aqsa, and for those people who I love.
So I have a question here from the audience.
Musa, we have one question here.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Assalamu alaikum. How is your niece doing with the situation in Gaza right now?
My niece is doing well, alhamdulillah.
Before you answer the question, I had someone was asking about your niece and your mom. And your mom and your sister and her daughter.
Sure. So let's start with my niece. My niece is 16 years old, and I used to spend very good time with her because I didn't see her for a long time. In fact, I didn't see her except for a few days when they were outside Gaza and I got to visit them in Turkey. So other than this, I had no previous memories with her, and yet it was a very nice opportunity for me to get to know her better and for her to know me better. So she is fine, and we were exchanging ideas and thoughts about the future and what we are going to do after this war finishes and what she wants to study in the university. And she started to ask me about medicine and how to study and what to do, and at least I convinced her to be a doctor, inshallah, in the future. So this is my niece. Regarding the situation now of my mother, my sister, and my niece, this is haqiqatan the pain in my heart. Like in one day, I left Gaza and my father, rahmatullahi alayhi, is not there anymore. So that would leave my mother and my sister and my niece by themselves, which is very tough and very difficult. Like I'm leaving them between his hands, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he will take care of them. I keep asking and checking on them whenever I can. With the difficulty of the cell phone coverage, the internet, sometimes I will spend 2 to 3 days. I don't hear from them anything. Like the situation over the last 3 days was really tough because I got to know that they targeted Al-Nusayrat refugee camp heavily. And I know exactly that it is a neighborhood very close to them. And yet I kept calling without any answer. Alhamdulillah, today in the morning I managed to call them to make sure that they are good, alhamdulillah. But this is my situation since then. Let's all, inshallah, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they will be safe and to protect them. And inshallah, I will see them soon, bi'idhnillah.
Jazakallah. So, one last question before we wrap up. So, there's a lot of different opinions, not just in our community, but a lot of Palestinian communities about the things that we do while the bombing is happening. So, for example, you saw the Devka, a form of resistance, you saw the play. I want to ask your opinion, because there's some people that don't like this. Some people that say we shouldn't do Devka, we shouldn't do plays, we shouldn't have food, we shouldn't do all this. What's your opinion on this?
Again, it is the same opinion. حقيقة I don't see these things should distract us from the real cause. Let everyone do whatever you want. At least let's agree on what's common between us. What's in common, that when I do something, I do it sincerely because I love my land, right? I love my people. I want to protect them. I want to free those people, myself, my land from the occupation. I do it through this way or from another way, that's fine. Let's agree on something that we have in common, and let's move all our differences and put them aside. We could discuss them, but haqiqatan there is no time. Like the amount of sacrifices that our people are giving there in Gaza should at least match our concerns and our seriousness. They sacrificed everything. They sacrificed their lives, their houses, their businesses, their kids, their future. Wallahi, they don't know what to eat tomorrow, what to expect for tomorrow. Do we drink for tomorrow something or not? This is a huge sacrifice. Do you think we have enough room to talk about I like this and I don't like this? There is no time to do this. Haqiqatan, we need to focus again. Let's make our seriousness of participating, of helping them to match their sacrifice. And that would make these differences very small, teeny tiny in your eyes, because you are busy with something more serious and more important.
Jazakallah khair, great answer. Okay, last question. We have one last question. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. If we could listen a little bit, so it's getting too loud. Somebody told me to ask a question. It's not my question, but somebody asked me to ask you, Doctor. They said the Canadian government, and the governments around the world, especially Canadian, they extended or they said you can bring your families or your relative out of Gaza to here. So what's your opinion of that? Is it good? Should it stay there? What do you think? That's what they asked.
Now, I know the concern of lots of people that this is the way that people will be evacuated from Gaza. That you have an exit, and now you leave Gaza, you never go back again, and this is another plan of tahjir, right? This is the concern. Now, I will never claim anyone in Gaza. If they decided right now, at least to leave. Like we can't sit, and I'm not saying our people need to leave, the opposite. We need them to stay, and we have to be there to support them. Like if someone decided to leave, we don't have to be very judgmental and to blame them. The situation there is disaster enough that we can't blame anyone. Like if you stay, that would be really appreciated. Now, in lots of cases, like people who are sick, they have cancer, or they got injured, or like the situation that I see at least in my mother's sister and niece, that they were left alone, without family, without extended family, without anyone to support them or to help them. Now, if we get our people to get outside Gaza, that's fine too, but that doesn't mean that you forget your house and your land and your neighbors and your responsibilities toward people there. So it's a fine line between that you leave and you forget about your land and you will never go back again, while there is another need that makes you to leave right now because the situation is disaster and you want to leave based on this. Now, what's happening right now is only up to my knowledge from the Canadian government. By the way, the Australians, they used to do this at the beginning of this conflict. But they changed and they closed that door. They didn't do it anymore. So for the Americans, the British and the other Europeans, they don't do that. So it is only a single initiative from government of Canada that those people who are Canadians and they want to get their people outside from Gaza, they can do this. Now, if you get them outside because you need to help them and support them, I won't blame anyone. If you want to encourage them to stay, to stand in their land, that would be really much appreciated. So it is something we can't be judgmental and we say it as a rule, it should be applicable for everyone. It's different case and case, but what we should all believe in, that whether you stay or you leave, you have your land there, and you need to go back at some point by yourself and your family.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bedr. Thank you on behalf of the whole community. I'm sure they all feel like I feel. Thank you for teaching us about courage and man, faith and sabr. I know for me personally, you've drawn me closer to my family and to my Creator just by watching your strength and your courage. So Jazakallah. Dr. Bedr, by the way, lives in London, Ontario. So he's committed to giving talks and speaking. We really need to use him as a valuable resource for us in Canada. If you're part of an organization or a group that would like to hear him speak or want to use him, I highly, highly recommend. There's so much more for him to say, but because of the interest of time, we can't. All I'll say now is thank you very much. Wa jazakallah khair. Wa Allah yarhamah inshallah.
Thank you both. Dr. Ehab's testimony and expertise is invaluable and very much needed at this time. Again, he is based in Ontario, but is available for talks and consults anytime. I want to take a minute to say Adam Allah Ajrukum to Dr. Ehab. I'd like you all to send up a prayer, the Fatiha, prayer in your own religion, for him, his family, and for all of the ones in Gaza right now. You'll see tables set up to my right, all the way at the wall there, with various stations that are meant to educate and empower our youth and ourselves. Whether it's learning the basics of Tatweez and how to get started, how to get organized and reach your elected officials and representatives, how to report hate crimes or anti-Palestinian school incidents, to get media training. We also have an art table for the children, a table about ethical consumption and supporting the Palestinian cause, and a few merch tables. To DJ Zahmi, as always, for being our sound amazing connoisseur, all the performers, and again to Dr. Ehab and Musa Pastas. Thank you also to Mr. Yasser Qanawati from the Edmonton Information Channel. Thank you for always being there and getting our message across. Have a great night, everybody, and please check out every station and empower yourself by taking action.